about no? Like the look on your face when I said that right away. That's priceless. It's almost a shame it's not going to be on video.
I'm gonna go ahead and get the stream started. Just started recording.
Sounds like a plan.
We're doing top 5 villains. I got my list here. I've only got 5. Didn't do any honorable mentions. I'm pretty certain we're gonna have at least one in common.
Probably, yeah.
How did you rank yours? And how did you pick? Did you pick by like who you thought was the worst or who you liked the most?
Dude, it was a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? There wasn't one fact. Maybe for my number one, there was one factor to me that I can really dig deep into. The rest of them were just more like, oh, that dude's fucking iconic for one reason or another, whether it be, one of my personal favorites or just my favorite to watch. Or, dude, like I said, it's so many different factors were involved in me picking these. And each one's in there for a different reason. There's no one reason in particular that they're in there, man. Like I can't wait to share, and I cannot wait to hear what you have, man. And I do have an honorable mention that I would love to mention because I wanted him in my top 5 so bad, but I just couldn't see putting him in there.
Okay, you know what? I'll throw an honorable mention out there.
Okay.
I have one that I have like 2 or 3 that I can put. But yeah, man, if you want to go ahead and throw out your honorable mention, I'll throw one out as well.
This villain to me, I absolutely love. Absolutely love, but he just couldn't make my top 5. And I think to me his voice was everything. And it's so iconic in my little mind. And I got to go with Skeletor, dude. Skeletor. I love Skeletor so much, dude, and he had so many quotable moments in He-Man. Like that was still to this day. I can go to YouTube, type in Skeletor and laugh at some of the stuff that he says, dude. He had that iconic laugh that if I hear today, it's something that I will still use coming out of my mouth when I do something that's like kind of conniving or kind of evil, like, or say something evil, in a group of friends. I'll sit there with my fingers like, you know what I mean? And that came from freaking Skeletor, dude. And I absolutely love Skeletor, man. And he would be number 6 on my list of these 5 fantastic villains that I will be talking about today.
Okay. I didn't I wasn't thinking going that way at all.
Oh, totally, man. I'm all over the place.
But I'm gonna throw out one that you might not even know of. But I'm gonna throw out Hans from Frozen.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Bro, just imagine, obviously Anna and Elsa, they're in turmoil right now because of the whole thing. Their parents are dead. They grew up basically secluded from each other because of Elsa's powers and Anna not knowing about him, no one knowing about him. Anna has literally been on her own for like at least 10 years of her life. So she's just craving any sort of human contact. And this dude essentially just plays on that, makes her fall in love with him very fast.
Yeah.
And then is going to straight up murder her so that he can take over her and her sister, so that he can take over her kingdom, because he's got a ton of older brothers. So his likelihood of taking over his kingdom is very, the likelihood is very low. So yeah, basically takes advantage of this young woman's desperation for human contact, convinces her to fall in love with him, fakes like he's in love with her, and is just going to straight up murder them both, her and her sister, so that he can be a king. Yeah, he's a douche. So there you go. There's my honorable mention. You went animated, so I'm like, I'm going to go animated as well.
Hell yeah,
Hans
dude.
from Frozen. There's my honorable mention, man.
Hell yeah. Oh, dude,
Remember.
I have like 4 overclips that I just haven't put on Movies and Beyond yet of Skeletor. And my favorite one is what? You know what I mean? And I can use that so much, and why it's not on the channel yet.
Yeah, man. I know the laugh. I know some clips of Skeletor.
Yeah, dude.
And it's one of the reasons I love this. I love this podcast we do. And we'll get into the list finally after I say this. But
Yeah.
it is when we pose these questions to each other. Like when I say, "Hey, dude, let's do top 5 villains."
Yeah.
Immediately, my mind goes to like 6 to 10 different places, right?
Yeah.
And yours goes to I don't know how many places, but they're completely
Completely
different. Like
different
I would have
places. Yeah.
never, you would have given me 100 guesses. Skeletor wouldn't have been in that 100, and that's what I love about this. Is like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
So, oh man, I love it. So there you go. That's all I wanted to say, and I can't wait to hear who you got, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So what do you got at number 5, bro?
How about no? Dr. Evil is number 5 on my list. I'm
Smoking a
going
pancake?
Dr. Evil, bro.
Piping a crepe?
He to me, he could have been even higher than he
Cigar
was.
and waffle?
Yeah, like he could have been even higher. Like he is just fan fucking tastic as a villain, dude.
Can I paint his you-hoo gold?
Yes.
It's kind of my thing, you know?
How about no?
You crazy Dutch bastard.
He's the complete opposite of Michael Myers, or yeah, Mike Myers, but the same dude. He's the complete opposite of Austin Powers, but dude, it's so good. And I feel like if you talk about the greatest villains of all time, whether you're talking about movies or cartoons, he has to be in the conversation. Now, he may not make your top 5, but damn it, man, if that is not an entertaining villain, like Dr. Evil to me, like,
Bro.
yes, dude. Yes.
One of my favorite quotes ever comes from that movie, and it's delivered by Michael Caine, who plays Austin Powers' father, when he's talking to Dr. Evil, who's Dutch. He goes, "There are 2 things I can't stand in this world: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch."
You should have saw, like, they'll never be able to see this, on the podcast because we're not on cam. But your face when it lit up when I was like, "How about no?" Like your face was just like,
Bro,
it was almost shock. Like,
I would have never thought of Dr. Evil. I went a completely different route, man. All of mine are like dark.
very villainous, very dark, and I'm sitting here talking about, $10 billion. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so good.
How about you just call it preparation ass cream, you ass? Oh my god, dude. Oh, oh my Jesus. All right. Mine is gonna be like I'm just gonna be bringing the mood down when I list mine off because they're all dark.
Oh, not all of mine are like this, but dude, he had to be on my list. Like,
Oh my
seriously,
God,
dude, freaking fantastic
I get
character.
a headache from laughing so much already.
And we're 9 minutes and 20 seconds in, and that's
Yes.
not even like the edit, so it's probably less than that for the people listening at home.
All right, my number 5 is Jenny Curran from Forrest Gump.
Interesting.
I think
I
Jenny.
see it.
I think Jenny is a villain. I think she's a terrible person. Now, a lot of people will justify her, and I don't think she's the worst person. I will say that. And but a lot of people justify her as like, oh well, she's a survivor. She was a victim of abuse, and this, and this. I'm like, yeah, that gives you a little leeway. Sure, people who are abused get more leeway than other people, but still, like she takes advantage of Forrest
a lot,
multiple times throughout the movie. Like she's so selfish. She runs off to do her own thing, leaving Forrest anytime he needs someone, and then she'll get in trouble, and then she'll run back to Forrest to get a little bit of comfort, and then as soon as she's got that, she dips out again, and then she and people point out like in trying to like de-vilify her, like how nice she was to him. And I'm like, she's only really nice to him when it suits her. Like when she doesn't need him, she doesn't even talk to him. She's just gone. Yeah. And people point out she let him sit next to her on the bus when no one else wanted. Like she wanted someone to protect her.
Yeah.
And that's a perfectly valid feeling. But the only time she ran to Forrest was when she was scared of her father. And that's a terrible situation for a kid to be in. It is. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And then, she sleeps with him once he's a millionaire. She's got diseases already. She's done terrible things throughout the world. She gets pregnant, and assuming the kid is his, doesn't tell him about it for 5 years. Then is like, "Hey, I'm dying. Will you pay my medical bills? Oh yeah, here's your kid that I never told you about. You got to raise him now.
Yeah.
Um,
Will you
and
marry me? Giving
oh,
him.
will you marry me?
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing. This is a more modern concept, and we're not going to go any deeper than what I'm about to say. Given Forrest's mental deficiencies, even the act of her getting pregnant could be looked at in a negative light. Because does he really have the capacity to consent? So there you go, man. My number 5, I have no reservations about saying Jenny from Forrest Gump. She's a villain, man.
I didn't see it coming. I see your point of view. I do. But wow. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
I
Number
told you,
5.
man, I was going dark with them. Like
Yeah.
mine are dark, but they're all on here for different reasons.
Yeah.
So there you go. What's your number
Hell
4,
yeah.
man? Liven the mood back up. Give me Chow. Where's Chow?
Well, no, I
Gonna...
can't lighten the mood up, man. Unfortunately. But to me, he can't be left off this list, dude. And my number 4, we're going to Crystal Lake. We're gonna see a boy. His name is Jason. And today is his birthday. So Jason Voorhees, to me, man, he's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Despite what's popular now, despite what's new, to me, he's. I believe you said it on another podcast when you were talking about, the way you look at slashers. You had the first, you had the best, and you had,
Oh yeah, I do. The
the
first to
way,
do it, the best to do it,
yeah,
my favorite, and the most unique.
right. So Jason is, and we disagreed on that list, but not with the best to do it, dude. Because Jason is the best, man. Dude, you want to talk about things that are never explored with this character that make this character special to me, man. The he's the villain that is not to be trifled with. First of all, let me say this. Okay, I never look down at Jason Voorhees, dude. I'm always looking up, 100%. But you can't help but to feel sorry for him as a character, for what he went through. He was special. He was abused. He was tormented, and he was later killed. You know, saw his
Multiple times, depending on which canon you believe.
saw his mother killed. And the only place that he knew, grew up to fend for himself. Uh, in a way, he based his whole life off of revenge and staying somewhere that the only place that he ever knew. And it can't be healthy for him to be in the only place that he ever knew that was so horrible to him. That place was horrible to him. Now, I'm not justifying what he's doing, what he did or
What he
what
turned
he's
into.
currently doing, because I still believe he's out there. And I
He's
can't wait
definitely
for him to
still
come back. But man, this villain to me, dude, when you say slasher, there's only one that comes to mind, and he's wearing a hockey mask in a world that is, so. And don't get me wrong, I love the shape, man, but to where slashers have just become Michael and Ghostface, dude. I didn't forget about the man behind the mask, and I'm just waiting for him to come back and do his thing. And I hope that it's done right. And number 4 for me is Jason Voorhees.
That's a damn good pick, man. Damn good pick. No one will ever be able to argue with that. Here's the thing for me. Because we each individual have horror channels, and just throwing this out there, if you are a listener of this podcast and you've never heard, you're not here from one of our individual channels, we both do have individual channels that are specifically horror focused.
Yeah.
If you want, I can start putting the link to those in the description of these. But for the most part, I've been trying to keep them separate a little bit. However,
Yeah.
I know we have overlap in viewers and stuff. But since we do have that, I purposely excluded horror villains for the most part, with one exception, from
Yeah.
this list. But if I were going to put one on there, it would have been Jason Voorhees.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, to
So
me, anytime you talk about the villain, dude, like he's immediately top five for me. Immediately.
yeah, yeah,
Regardless of what genre we're talking about. Because dude, he's a beast, man. He's you can't reason with him. You can't you know what I mean? It's Jason, dude.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
freaking
dude.
Jason.
Believe me, I get it. I get it. Like I said, if I was including horror villains, like I did include one. There's one who's straight up a horror villain, but you'll see when I get there.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, if I was including slashers, Jason would have been on there.
Hell yeah.
But for me, my number 4 is going to be Colonel Hans Landa from Inglorious Bastards,
Oh, well done.
played by Oscar-winning for this role Christoph Waltz. This dude is so despicable. You know, most of the time, I think the great villains are not only bad, but they're really good at whatever it is their goal is. You know,
Yeah.
like an incompetent evil person, they're not going to get much done. Colonel Londa is, he doesn't see it as being evil. He doesn't. He's just doing his job. But he does his job so well, and he's so calculated in everything he does.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons for me that he gets on this list is because he kind of wins. Like, yeah, sure, he's got a swastika carved real deep in his forehead, and if you want a little notation of how much I love this character, that scene is in the live opening for my horror channel. Yeah, Bearded
Nice.
Entertainment. Yeah, when oh my God, Brad Pitt, when you see him say, "I'm gonna give you a little something you can't take off," that's when he goes to carve the swastika into Londa's head. But he kind of wins because he gets that. But when it comes down to it, he knows, he's like, the information I can provide and what I can do for your country is worth so much that you're going to forgive me of everything. You're going to pay me a very large amount of money. You're going to give me citizenship and buy me a nice house on Nantucket Island where I can live out the rest of my days in comfort. And he gets all that. Like, sure, Brad Pitt, you know, they kill him. Aldo Rain takes care, or not kill him. Aldo Rain takes care of his partner, and he gets a little, you know, scarification going on. But he lives. He gets to live through it. So like, man, he's just so diabolically evil and calculated, and he's kind of successful at the end. So
Yeah.
there you go, man. That's my number 4. And plus, not to take anything, you know, just to add one little bump to it, Christoph Waltz plays him to perfection. Like,
Yeah.
you despise this guy by the end of the movie so much. There you go, man. Colonel Hans Landa from Inglorious Bastards.
You know, even if you look at all the, performers that play villains, like people that come to mind are like Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Uh,
Dude.
what was his name? Was it Ramsay? In Game of
Ramsay
Thrones.
Bolton.
Yeah. You look at those characters and they are so hated. And that just tells you how good their characters were played.
Yeah, the dude who played the kid who played Joffrey
Yeah.
quit acting
Yes.
because like he was getting so much hate from people, and
Yes.
it's like he's just playing a character, y'all. Like, this isn't actually him. But yeah, he completely.
Yeah.
Gleason was his last name. I don't remember what his first name was.
I'll tell you what, man, when that show was going on and, Joffrey was still doing Joffrey things, I was like, man, I genuinely hate this guy. Like, that's how you know, like, man, what a great actor, because I want to punch him in the face.
Oh yeah.
What a fantastic actor. Hell yeah, man. I get it. Trust me. Ooh.
All right, man. What's your number 3? Well, we're moving pretty quick on this one.
Yeah, we are, man. And that's cool.
Yeah. If we get done a little early, it doesn't have to be an hour. We can
Right.
whatever it comes out to.
Number 3 for me, this is a complicated character for me, but belongs on this list, dude. And there are many iterations of this character, but I have to go with the Joker. Uh, the Joker that comes to mind to me is not Joaquin Phoenix. It's not Heath Ledger. It's not Jack Nicholson. It's the Joker from the comic The Killing Joke. Uh, and that Joker, you know, that's just one of the many reasons why, no matter what you say to me, you remember when Suicide Squad came out, people were like, I want a relationship like Harley and the Joker. It's like,
What are you talking?
no, you don't. Like,
That's Stockholm syndrome. That's not a relationship.
watch The Killing Joke, right? The Killing Joke is so dark. The Joker is so dark. From the paralyzation and defilement
Of
of Commissioner
Gordon's
Gordon's
daughter.
daughter
Yeah.
to what he put Commissioner Gordon through
Making him look at all these
afterwards
dude. Oh my god.
on a
Oh.
roller coaster naked.
No, it was a tunnel of love.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
tunnel of love, and he had decorated the tunnel with all the
Yes.
photos
Of
of said defilement. So
Yes.
he's literally got to go through and look at what happened to his daughter, who's now
just to
paralyzed.
prove a
One
point.
bad day.
One bad day. And you look at the way the Joker is, he cannot exist without Batman.
They're
Like,
two sides to the same coin.
that to me, he's absolutely insane, man. He is absolutely insane character, and to me, in my mind, cannot be left off this list, dude. Like I said, there's the mainstream version of who the Joker is that everybody loves, and then there's the Joker, the real Joker. A glimpse of that I felt like so much, and definitely different comic run, but I got that feeling. I got that feeling from Jared Leto at the end of the Snyder Cut. When he stands there, dude, talking about killing Robin and holding a card in front of Batman saying, anytime you want to break this truce, you can happily tear this card in half and we can talk about why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job. And the music hits and the look on his face when he's saying it of utter sincerity looking at Batman, dude. And that's why that character is, he can go from laughing to 1 minute to that stone look of just terror, almost like in the movie the Tim Curry version, how Pennywise's face changes from that smile to that look, dude. I got Joker vibes from that. And I'm not saying Stephen King pulled that from,
No. God, yeah.
but that's the vibe,
Same
dude.
vibe, yeah.
That vibe comes off, man. And I don't think that this character is looked at in that way enough anymore for people to realize who this really is. And that makes him a top villain in my book, dude. And it makes him belong on this list. The Joker is fucking the Joker, dude.
Damn good pick, man. Damn
Thank you.
good pick. For me, my number 3 has been played by three very, very highly accomplished and well.
I already know where you're going because it was the next person on my list ahead of time. All I'm going to say is silence, but I will let you go.
Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
Look at me, dude. Look at me. I knew
Dr.
it.
Hannibal Lecter, Brian Cox, Anthony Hopkins, Mads Mikkelsen.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of falls in line
Wasn't he played 4 times?
Oh. He was. There was a prequel version of him. So Brian Cox played him once in Manhunter.
Yes.
Then Anthony Hopkins played him twice in
3 times.
Oh yeah, three times because they remade Manhunter, Hannibal, and Silence of the Lambs.
Yes. So they had Red Dragon, Hannibal, and Silence.
Yeah. But then there was a prequel where he was played by someone else.
Yes.
Because Hannibal Rising, I think it was called. But
yes, it was.
It is mostly forgettable. But then, of course, we had the series with Mads Mikkelsen.
Whew. That series, bro.
Dude, the intelligence of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, it just whatever side of the good and evil coin he decided to go to would flourish, if that makes sense. Like with his intelligence and his gifts and his abilities, he would be a damn good hero or one of the worst villains of all time because
Yeah.
and we know which side he's chosen. I'm just reminded of like how confident and how smooth and effortlessly he convinces that woman to give him Will Graham's address over the phone so that he's just calling, oh, I'm trying to send this, and he's just so confident.
He brings a new like meaning to psychological warfare, dude.
So much.
Like,
So
holy
much.
shit, I do not want to be in a battle of the minds with this motherfucker, like, ever.
Yeah, yeah. And in freaking Red Dragon, no, not Red Dragon, Hannibal, when he feeds Ray Liotta part of his own brain.
And basically makes Ray Liotta thank him for it.
Yeah, and then chastises Ray Liotta for being rude. I'm like,
Yes.
bro, you got his dome is removed right now. Like,
Dude, he's playing chess with the grandmasters, and we're all learning how to play checkers. Like,
and man, you know, if you're listening to this, you probably know fucking Hannibal Lecter. And for me, when I thought of villains, one of the first names that came to mind was Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and he's my only exception to the horror rule. He's not a slasher though. He is, man.
Jason, spoiler alert, was my only horror villain that I threw on here.
And this Hannibal's my only one. But
Yeah.
like I said, when I was going with this, I was going for more. I can't even say that. I can't even finish that sentence because once you hear my next pick, it's going to be complete, or one of my next picks, it's completely that philosophy goes out the window. But man, Hannibal Lecter, there was no way I wasn't going to add him to a top 5 horror villains of all time. He said only a few movies, only a few outings. He's just memorable every single time, with the exception of Hannibal Rising. So there you go, man. That's my number 3, Hannibal Lecter.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell of a pick, dude. He was on my list. He's there, man. Like, what a
just down a little bit.
No, like he didn't make this top 5, dude. I wanted him on there, but the list just wasn't big enough for me. It just wasn't, dude.
Oh,
but,
dude, believe me, I had some struggles too.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like I said, I had all 5 picked when we started this podcast, or like right before we started recording. I was like, man, I still got to put them in order.
Yeah, dude. Villains are hard because they range in such a different, like you said earlier.
Did you pick your favorite, or did you pick them by how bad they were? Like there's so many aspects.
Like I said, dude, it's just like it's all over the place. Each one is for a different reason. You know, it's not like who was the most insane, who was the smartest, dude. There's so many different ways like that you could rank villains. But we just said top five villains, and these are the top 5 that stand out for me. Number 2, we are going to take a journey. Played by Mr. Ken Jeong, Mr. Leslie Chow.
I knew it was coming.
Mr. Chow made that whole series for me.
Did you die?
But did you die? I mean, there are
today.
so many quotable Chow moments, and some of them are so subtle. Now, granted, there are a lot of them that are way over the top, and they're very popular.
So long, gay boys.
One of my favorite lines, just because of how nonchalant he is as he flips his hand when he says it and starts walking away. And dude, the subtleness behind, like when they're walking in the second Hangover movie to pay to give that guy the bank account code, and he goes walking through that hotel, and there's people walking through, and he walks through the middle of them, and he's just like, Chow crossing, you know what I mean? And just like, get out of my way. Like, those were the subtle things, you know. And when he reveals he has a wife and kids in the elevator, you're just like, what the hell, man?
Who would marry this chaos of a human being?
And that's what he is, dude. Chow is chaos. like literal chaos. No matter where he is, it's absolute chaos. You look at him from the first one and he changes throughout, but
He
you
actually
get,
has an arc.
yeah, he does have an arc, dude, but he is the villain. And Alan finally has to walk away from him at the end, where he's like, I need to get away from you. Granted, of course, he shows up at the wedding anyway,
Mhm.
in the end credit scene, which is, great. But dude, Leslie Chow is probably my favorite villain of all time. He's just he changes he changes the game, man. He totally changes the game from the original. He's like the big bad, in the
Mhm.
original, to then he's like part of the team in the second one. Although he has gone for a while. To the third one and the double cross. Do you know what
I
I mean?
For every movie, I was like, okay, after the first one, I'm like, how are they gonna work him in? Because there's no way they're gonna have this movie without him, and there's no way he's gonna be the villain in every single movie. So I was like, how are they gonna work him in? And they found a way to do it. Not necessarily that worked out the best, but
Yeah.
it was good enough that I didn't even question it. I was like, I don't care. I've got Ken Jeong back in here. That's
Yeah.
all I did. When he hopped out of that trunk, butt ass naked, like bush so big you can't even see anything, dude, I laughed so damn hard.
And all Alan could say to him is something about Godzilla. You know what I mean? And he ends up thumping him. But I mean, look at Chow at the end. All Chow needed was a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Alan gave him a chance. And he ended up killing all them and putting them in the trunk to get away. It's like, yes, Chow. No, dude, he's chaos. Chow is chaos. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, uh God, what's his name? Guy that plays Dan Connor and Roseanne. Uh he played Marshall and in the Hangover
Oh
3.
yeah. I Dan
John
was
Goodman.
yeah, John Goodman.
John
John
Goodman. He
Goodman.
basically says like Leslie Chow is chaos. You know what I mean? And he
Yeah. That's
was,
why I say
dude.
he's chaos of a human being.
Yeah. He's freaking chaos, dude. Leslie Chow, number 2 for me. He made the exit of my video. He is the exit on my channel,
Yeah, I was
and
about to
he
say he is.
always will be, dude. Uh, I love him, dude. I love him to death.
Um, great great choice, man. Like I said, I went darker route, but uh I knew you were gonna have that one on there. You've laid some hints.
Oh, guaranteed, dude. I couldn't
Yeah.
contain myself. Like someone says villain, I'm immediately like, did you die? You know
Did
what I
you
mean?
die? Damn good pick. Damn good pick. Hilarious pick. Not as hilarious as Goldmember, or I'm sorry, Doctor Evil, but
How about no? Like the look on your face when I said that right away. That's priceless. It's almost a shame it's not gonna be on video because that would have been a moment.
yeah, dude.
Fantastic.
Anyways, uh, still not over fucking Doctor Evil. My number two, the chosen one,
Hmm.
Anakin
There's only
Skywalker
one chosen one, and my
slash
eyes lit
Darth
up.
Vader. Here's the thing. This He could very easily have been number one. The reason I did not put him in number one, and I'm going to be blatantly honest, is because I am not as well versed in Star Wars.
Mhm.
So I can't even tell you all the villainous things he's done. Obviously, we know the order with the younglings. We know a bunch of shit that Darth Vader's done that's terrible. But I think the reason he absolutely has to be on a top 5 villains list is because fucking even people who've never seen Star Wars know Darth Vader's a bad guy.
You can show them Darth Vader and they'll be like, that's Darth Vader.
Yeah,
No, I've never seen Star Wars, but I know that's Darth Vader.
exactly. Like everyone knows the sounds of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Fucking everyone knows Luke, I am your father, which is, I don't even think is technically the right phrasing from the movie, but everyone knows him. And for me, when I think of Darth Vader as a villain, I think of myself sitting in a theater watching this little prequel movie called Rogue One. and I'm watching, and obviously this is one of the newer ones since the prequel trilogy, and I think the original trilogy, Darth Vader was the big bad. He was. The prequel trilogy, we don't necessarily have Darth Vader. We've got Anakin, and in my opinion, it humanized Anakin a little bit too much. Like some of the mystique from the big bad, in my opinion, some of the mystique from the big bad is gone because now I see that tortured little kid behind that mask. Now I see this thing, and he was being taken over and being used and all this. But so I had a different opinion of Darth Vader at the time. Me watching Rogue One, and it's toward the end, and you just see that hallway scene, and they're just lining up with those blasters along those walls down that hallway, and it's dark, and you hear it. You hear the breath. All of a sudden, that fucking hallway gets illuminated by that red lightsaber, and he goes through and decimates every single one of them
with ease.
Like they're nothing. Dude, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this because that was one of the best theater experiences of my life. And I'm not even a huge Star Wars guy. Like the entire crowd the entire theater I was in started like cheering for this villain because and even I said, I was like, no, that's fucking Darth Vader. That is the villain I remember from the prequel or from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And so when I put him on this list, that's the first thing that came to mind. Obviously, the younglings with Anakin and everything. But for me, this is when it got basically reiterated to me. Oh yeah, he had a dark past, and he ended up sacrificing himself for his son. But he was a fucking bad guy. Like he was a villain. We don't want you to forget this dude's a villain. So there you go, man. This is the one I thought we'd have in common.
Yeah.
I think we still might have it in common.
Oh yeah,
So
we do.
there you go, man. My number 2, Darth Vader.
Greatest villain of all time.
Your
Darth
number 1,
Vader.
I assume.
It's Darth Vader, dude. 100%. You know, now I do disagree with you on one thing because I don't think that Darth Vader was the big bad of the later Star Wars trilogy, and it was always Emperor Palpatine. He was always the one pulling the strings in all 6 of the movies. He's the one that made Anakin choose. He's the one that basically told Anakin, "This is the only way to save Padme, is to do this." To where he was lying, because he knew the whole time that Darth Vader was pretty much going to kill Padme. Now, granted, it's still kind of iffy on how she died. You know what I mean? There is that, but I mean, showing Anakin's as Anakin, whether you're just looking at the first 3 movies or you want to dive into the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars makes that so much more impactful because you see more of him. You see his relationships and all the things that he was willing to sacrifice to save her, which in turn later you kind of understand when he saves Luke, because that's his son and that's what he has left of her. Now, you didn't really know it at the time when Return of the Jedi came out, but it creates a bigger picture of an ultimate tale of redemption. And I think that redemption is a tale that is not as appreciated now because everyone's so quick to just blast somebody, and you don't give them that chance for that redemption arc. Anakin to me had the most impressive redemption arc out of anything. Like the only person that could get through to him was his son. And I see that when Anakin decided to help Emperor Palpatine, it was to save Padme. And the Emperor said, "You have to choose." And I think that was in his mind when the Emperor was lightning shocking the shit out of Luke. And he was looking back and forth. I know you heard that voice. You have to choose. And he did, which in turn sacrificed himself because the Emperor created the suit that Darth Vader was in. The 2 things with that suit: one was to cause him constant pain. Okay, so in that suit, he's in constant pain, and that is feeding his rage, and him being, able to tap into the dark side of the Force. And 2, he made it a conductor of lightning. So at any time the Emperor wanted to, he could snap his fingers and kill Anakin, because Anakin himself, no suit, both legs, both arms, would have been more powerful than any of them could possibly imagine. I mean, I hate to use a direct, more powerful than you could possibly imagine, but he would have been, dude. If Anakin never became Darth Vader, he would have been something that, nobody's touching, period. And it always makes me wonder what
Not even
Anakin.
Rey Skywalker.
Okay.
You guys can't see it, but I'm pretty sure he just threw up in his mouth a little bit.
God. Jesus. Yes, not even Rey Skywalker.
But she
Rey
healed the
Palpatine,
snake. She
anyway.
brought it back to life.
Yeah, I know. The one power that totally would have,
Anything he can do, she can do better.
Oh, God, yeah, completely. But Darth Vader, to me, you talked about, him being recognized. And I have first count of that. I have friends that have never seen Star Wars, but they know who Darth Vader is. And I could probably go up to anyone on the street, hold a picture, and be like, "Who's this?" And they'll be like, "Oh, that's Darth Vader."
Here's the thing. I'm going to put a caveat to that. Even if they don't know it's Darth Vader, they can immediately tell you Star Wars. And he's so if you did that with Luke Skywalker, they're not going to know immediately Star Wars. That could be anything, that could any number of fantasy universes.
Well, have you seen a lot of those social media posts where a lot of people think Obi-Wan is Jesus?
Exactly. That's the thing. Like the Jedi robes, yeah, they're cool. You show them Darth Vader, they know Star Wars. There's no mistaking with it. Exactly. You could argue he was the face of that franchise for decades.
Well, dude, I mean, the 6th movie release of the Skywalker saga, was ultimately about Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
He was, besides C-3PO, he was the one constant in every movie.
He was the chosen one for anyone out there listening.
Yeah.
He is the chosen one.
He completely is. Now, when you dive into Clone Wars and stuff, and you get to see, his relationship with Ahsoka, his relationship even more with Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan being like a father to him. You reckon you made the comment about him killing younglings and him helping slaughter the Jedi. He helped hunt down and kill all of the Jedi to make them extinct. A lot of people didn't like the Obi-Wan series, but there was a line that Hayden Christensen said in that really stuck with me, man, because, Darth Vader's there. He's got half his mask cut off. And Obi-Wan says to him, he's like, "Anakin, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of it." Like, he let him down. And Anakin looked at him. Well, Darth Vader looked at him and said, "You didn't kill Anakin. I did." The impact of those lines, dude, to where no matter what, and when Anakin defeats him, he walks away and he said, "So long, Darth." He let go. He knew that Anakin wasn't there. For Luke to bring Anakin back.
And I don't care what anyone says about Ahsoka. That fight montage where you got fucking Anakin walking toward her in the smoke and like lightning flashes, and you see that split second of Darth Vader, fucking goosebumps, man.
Yeah,
like
dude.
That shit. Like I was in my chair, like fucking let's go,
dude. All those things, in that scene. He took her through the Clone Wars. She saw Rex. She was a kid again. She was on, certain battles of her past. And if you looked at one in particular where she's fighting in Mandalore, and Anakin walks up and says, "I don't know this battle." And it's great, dude. It's perfectly accurate, because if you watch the Clone Wars, when she's fighting that battle in the Clone Wars, he's in Revenge of the Sith doing that shit in the movies. Like, they are connected that way. She went to Mandalore on her own to fight alongside of Bo-Katan, and that's where she fought Darth Maul. Anakin was not there. He was doing the Revenge of the Sith stuff. He was saving Palpatine from the ship from Grievous, and all that stuff up there. There happened simultaneously. Fantastic, dude. But yeah, Darth Vader, number one for me. That never. There's got to be something to come out that is just absolutely groundbreakingly epic to ever knock him off that throne, man. Darth Vader, number one.
Damn good pick, man. Obviously, we had that in common. It was my number 2. That's the one I thought we would have in common.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna. You were like, we got one in common. I was like, it's probably gonna be Jason.
Yeah, Jason would have been a good pick. Like I said, if we had 10, if we had a list of 10,
Yeah.
Jason would have been on the list.
Well, we'd add more than that because I know Hannibal Lecter would have been on freaking mine
On
for
yours,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. But
And
yeah,
Skeletor.
remember,
What?
I. But yeah, dude, I knew Darth Vader. I'm gonna be honest. I was like 98% Darth Vader was gonna be your number one.
Yeah. Right.
And I was like, I was going. That's the position I had the most difficulty with because I'm like, I understand every argument for him being number one.
Yeah.
I just don't know him well enough to put him there.
Oh.
So it was my number two. My number one, we also have in common, the Joker.
Yeah, dude.
I'm a huge Batman fan. I've got a fucking Batman tattoo on my arm. I've loved Batman for so fucking long. And the Joker, no matter what iteration you're talking about, the least of which would be the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, because he's kind of set up as the protagonist of that film, but he's still. I think most of that film was a delusion that he's having.
When he shot De Niro on set, man,
you get what you fucking deserve.
Whoa, shit.
Dude. Oh, dude,
you want to talk about jumping out of your seat in a movie theater, bro?
You know what got me, and it's such a subtle part, like, and no one really, because it follows such a lightning scene, such as the De Niro one.
Yeah,
when he goes into her house or her apartment and is like trying to blow off his steam and everything, and she's so scared of him, and you realize, oh, that never really happened. That's all been in his head.
Yeah.
The first of all, Zazie Beetz, she played that scene so well. She genuinely looked terrified.
Yeah.
And it hits you like, this dude is so fucking insane.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's completely gone. And there's a look. And for me, I've talked about it several times, but for me, moments make a movie.
Yeah.
There are moments that will make me, no matter how shitty the movie is, if there's a moment that catches me, I'm sold forever. And this movie has one. And it's on top of being a damn good movie. There's a part at the very end after the cop car crashes, and Joker, he gets out and he's standing on top of the car and he's bleeding, right? He's bleeding out of his mouth. And he takes his fingers and dips them in the blood and makes a smile like it's the makeup. And he has this grin on his face that is the most diabolical looking grin I think I've ever seen in my life. And that moment, I'm like, there's nothing anyone can ever say. I don't care what negativity comes out about. If every single one of the people in this movie got confirmed to be a terrible person, I'm never going to deny this movie, and I'm always going to love it because of that moment. But yeah, man, the Joker, we've already talked about the Killing Joke and the shit he does to Barbara. And I was going to talk about it then, but I'm like, I got to have something to talk about when I talk about the Joker.
Yeah, I didn't see it, man. I didn't even think about it. I didn't mean to go into, so.
Oh, no, dude, it's totally cool. Cause I knew I was going to have it this high. You mentioned something about people idolizing, the Harley Joker relationship and Suicide Squad and stuff. And there was a moment in that movie that I thought displayed potential true Joker. And that was when she's not Harley yet. She's still, she's still Dr. Quinzel.
Yeah.
He's got her strapped and tied up to that bed. And he's coming at her with those fucking electroshock things. And she's like, are you going to kill me? He goes, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really bad. Yeah. And I'm like, when I heard that, and that was in the trailer, when I saw that, I'm like, I don't like the look at first. I'm like, the look isn't me. But when he said that line, I'm like, that's potential. No matter what you think about the way he looks, when he said that line, that I got comic book Joker out from that line.
Yep.
And of course, everything else we got outside of that, wasn't the best. You bring up the line at the end of the Snyder Cut. You cannot deny that line. But I mean, you go back to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
You mentioned psychological warfare with Hannibal Lecter. The psychological warfare he was playing on every single person,
Yeah.
on fucking Dent, who becomes Two-Face, obviously, on Gordon, on Batman, on freaking everyone. And when Batman or when he's giving out the location of Dent and oh
Rachel.
god, Rachel
Yeah.
Dawes, and he purposely
Yeah.
tells him the wrong one. So he knows Batman's gonna run and get there as fast as he can to save Rachel because that's the woman he loves. He purposely gives him the wrong address, and he's got to listen to Rachel die over the phone.
Yeah.
And just the perfect way he sets everything up. He knows before anyone else knew that Harvey Dent is going to be the shining light, that he's got to burn out so Gotham will go dark.
Yeah.
He knows, and he had that plan from the beginning. And the thing about it is, Batman will never kill the Joker, and the Joker will never kill Batman.
Yeah.
And Heath Ledger says it so perfectly in that movie. Batman's like, "Why do you want to kill me?" He's like, "I don't want to kill you. I don't know what I would do without you. You complete me.
We're destined to do this forever."
Yeah. Dude, it's the Joker for me. And like I said, I know you feel this way about Darth Vader. For me, the Joker, greatest villain of all time, man.
He's up
And
there, man.
no matter who he's played by, like Mark Hamill in the animated series, they fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Even Zach Galifianakis in the Lego Batman movie was a good Joker. Like, it was a different Joker, but it was a good Joker. And
the kid from Shameless, who played him in
he was
Gotham.
Jerome. Yeah. They couldn't use Joker. Cameron. I want to say his last name starts with a B.
He was also in the Star Wars video game.
Yeah, I know his last name, Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah.
He played Ian Gallagher. Yeah, he played Jerome and then Jerome's brother. Dude, that scene where you figure out who it is and he breaks out in that laugh. Dude, I remember that's one of the things I love watching reactions to, people's first time reaction to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, he was a good Joker. And I don't know if most people know about this, but it's been revealed in the comics by the Oracle. There are actually 3 Jokers. There's not one Joker. There are 3 Jokers. Now, a lot of people take it, there's a theory, rather, a conspiracy, one might say, that the 3 Jokers are the 3 on screen we had before Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jack Nicholson's Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, and Jared Leto's Joker, because they're all distinctly different.
Yeah.
Like Jack Nicholson was a gangster. Heath Ledger was an anarchist. Jared Leto was, I don't even know what you want to call him, but he was kind of like a thug. I mean, if you want to go that way.
If you look at like the Dark Knight Returns, you know, there's a lot of similarities between that Joker and the Joker in that. Not the Dark Knight Returns, the Dark Knight. Hold on a second. Damn it. I didn't plan on going this deep on the Joker. I actually own the animated movie and it's like 5 hours long. But it is the one where the Dark Knight beats Superman. Dark Knight. I'll have to look into it, man. There's no way I'm gonna find all of it right now.
Yeah, you're good, man. But that's the thing. There are 3 Jokers, so they were all distinctly different enough between Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Jared Leto that a lot of people theorized that's why they made that decision in the comic books, is so that you can never have a fully clear answer. And that's another thing that makes a Joker so damn good. No one really knows who he is. Not even him. He's got a line in one of the comic books, I forget which one, but when he's being interrogated about his past or something, and he says something along the lines of, if I have to have a backstory, I'd rather it be multiple choice.
Wasn't there one backstory though where he was a comedian, and he was struggling,
Yeah,
and
the
his
the
wife
laughing, I think it's the laughing joke or something like that.
was it? It's been a while, but I remember he was a struggling comedian, and his wife ended up like electrocuting herself with like the toaster or some shit like that. While he was being the Red Hood, and um, what he had to do something for these gangsters and came back and his wife was dead. Something along those lines, man. I'd have
Yeah,
to
yeah, I know
refresh
it.
myself with that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and I think they even gave him the name because that's the thing in the comic books. At sometimes the Joker's name is does appear as Jack Napier, which
Yeah.
is who Jack Nicholson's character's name in
Yes.
Tim Burton's Batman. I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, there's a lot of backstories you can go with. There's three Jokers. The criminals, or they refer to him as the criminal, the comedian, and the clown. But yeah, man, sorry, we're going a little off tangent here on the Joker, but that's my number one, man, the Joker. I knew we would have Darth Vader in common. I didn't know we'd have the Joker in common.
That's awesome.
It's a respectable choice any way you look at it, no matter where it ends up on this list. But all of them pale in comparison to fucking Doctor Evil.
How about no?
Bro. Preparations A through G. So this is referred to as Preparation H. Preparation ass cream, you ass. I'm sorry, would you like to get some ice cream? Yeah, I would love to get some chocolate ass cream. Bro, we didn't even approach on the topic of fucking Seth Green as his son.
Yeah.
And Vern Troyer as Mini-Me. There's so much more discussion that could have been had about Dr. Evil.
Oh, believe me, I know.
Oh man, this was a hell of a good time, man.
It was, dude. It was an absolute blast. And every time we do these, man, I look forward to them. And I can't wait until more people see it because they're so much fun, dude. There's so much fun.
So much fun to do. They're a lot of fun to do. And they're a lot of fun to think of the list too. Like,
yeah,
I spent a decent amount of time. Like, I'll be working on other videos from my other channel, and then be like, oh shit, who's going on my list? What's going on my list this week? And then like I'll pause and start working on that instead. And yeah, dude, I always have a good time with these, and you never know what kind of laughs are gonna come out of them. And I was coming in this with a serious attitude, like, oh, this dude wants to kill an entire, like, pretty much commit genocide against a group of people known as the Jedi. So he's got to go on there. This woman, pretty much ruined this dude's life or not ruined this dude, blew this guy off and kind of led him on to be her comfort anytime she wanted while she was off doing drugs and selling herself and and then you just come in with fucking Dr. Evil. And it's at that point I knew I was going to be the mood killer in this video.
Well, dude, we all love villains for different reasons, man, and they're all our favorites for different reasons. And it's just like, whew. What would you have done if that was my number one? Like, Vader was 2, and you're like, damn, I thought that would be your number 1. I was like, how about no? Like,
bro, if you put Vader at 2 for Dr. Evil, we would have had to stop the stream early because I would have had a migraine from laughing so damn much. Because all I could think about at that moment would be Vader and Dr. Evil fighting over the number 1 spot. Like they both want the honor of being your number 1, and just.
How would that conversation go before they fought?
I'm just imagining the Death Star getting attacked by the giant penis-looking rocket from that Dr. Evil shot off. Yeah, Mr. Vader, sir, we've got an incoming ship. It appears to be a big Johnson. What's it look like on your screen?
Oh my god, so good.
Oh,
man.
Dude.
Oh, fuck, my face is red as shit.
Dude, mine too. I'm hotter than hell right now. It's like so hot in this room. I got my printer next to me. It's not been on for a little bit, but it's still like radiating heat over here. All right, we're probably gonna cut it there.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude, this was so fun. I gotta go take some ibuprofen for this damn headache. If you're still here, thank you so much for listening. This has been Silver Screen Banter with Eric
and Michael.
I realized we haven't said that at the beginning of like the last 2 or 3 episodes. We just kind of jump into it.
That's fine.
I figure we'll say it at the end. Silver Screen Banter with Eric and Michael.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. If you are here, we'll be back next Saturday with episode 9. We got to think of something special to do for our 10th episode, man.
We do.
Something a little bigger. But yeah, we'll be back next Saturday for episode 9. We'll have to decide what we're going to do for that. But until then, thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.